The fuck. I gotta detangle some wires here. So what's happening is, like, periodically I move stuff around over to the left over here, and it pulls on this cable, and then when I move my mic, it disconnects. Anyway, so we're good to go now. Thank you for your patience, David Glenn. So it looks like my test is successful. So a while back, I learned that if I had the chat window open, but behind another window, the chat would not update in OBS. And right now you can see, like, I'm running DaVinci Resolve on my main monitor, but on my top monitor I have DaVinci in full screen. So I was worried that the chat window would not update, but it looks like it does. So anyway, how is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone's doing all right. So I'm gonna just basically go through and chronicle my my efforts to get my telescope set up for, you know, the big solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse of the heart. Actually, it was a partial eclipse, which is why I titled this stream, you know, partial eclipse of the sun, because it's not a total eclipse, it's a partial eclipse. And I need to find, where did I put the I need to find solar eclipse 2024. So I have this little folder over here with some video clips, and we're just gonna queue up some clips real quick, and then we're gonna jump right to it. So I want to find a clip from a couple of days ago. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, good. I found it already. Let me make sure I don't have any scenes where I'm showing like a messy room or something like that. Okay, good. So that video clip is nice. So that's the 126 megabyte clip. Oh, my turtle. Oh, it's my turtle. Okay, I'll show you guys my turtle real quick. So, yeah, this has nothing to do with the solar eclipse, but, you know, I love my turtle, you know, so I'm going to show you my turtles real quick. So, this is the room with my server in there, and...
Hello, Squirtle. How you doing, baby?
See, look, that's my homegirl.
I love you too.
I love you too, Squirtle.
Hey, Puffy, how you doing? You guys want to eat? I got some pellets for you. I'll do some pellets first. Hey, I got a choice. You want some pellets or you want some pellets?
Yeah. You want some pellets or you want some pellets?
There's Squirtle. It's right behind you, honey bunny.
Yeah, so they do this. Turtles can be kind of dumb sometimes. Like, you'll put food behind them, and they'll still be like, where's the fucking food? It's like, it's right behind you.
Puffy buddy.
And you can see how Puffy has some festive ears, unlike her sister. And that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against Squirtle for not having festive ears.
Oh, is that your claws? Okay.
Yeah, I thought I heard a noise from the filter.
Sweetie. I love you very much.
God, it's so corny.
You're both very good kids, you know that? I'm very proud of both of you.
I am pretty proud of them. I mean,
This is not the right food, by the way, so that's why I always try to give it to you less frequently.
actually, I'm not sure what food. I'm not sure what food I'm giving them at this point. Like, it's not labeled. I'm kind of just hoping it's not the wrong one. No, the cable. Ah, Jeebus. Oh, I muted the audio. Oh, the cable didn't pop out. I hit the button. Apparently, I don't even know I did that. So how long was that out? Okay, so we got some videos queued up. So let's get right to it. So I'm gonna unmute the audio, and hopefully I don't say anything dumb in the video clip. So let's go from the top. This is my solar filter right over here. This is a Daystar Quark solar filter. So basically, it's exactly what it looks like it is, right? No doubt, Disney Sheepherder. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for dropping in. Always a pleasure. So basically, I have this thing stored in a kit with all of the key components mounted together. That's the QHY-174 camera. It's got a smaller sensor. It's got an image sensor that is half the size of this one right over here. I can actually demonstrate here. So this is my Olympus mirrorless camera. It's sort of like a fake DSLR. And if we pop this open, that's what they call a 4/3 sensor. So believe it or not, the Daystar Quark has a sensor of comparable size, maybe a little bit smaller. The camera I ended up using has a larger sensor. So does it look expensive? The camera, not the most expensive, but it was a little bit pricey. And I do thank you for the like, for dropping a like, Mr. Sheepherder. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful sleep, a restful sleep. I really do. So anyway, the camera, relatively cheap, still, I think, set me back $800 at the time I got it. The filter, the filter, that's another story. So actually, they got a website we can go to, and believe it or not, the filter I own is cheap. So this is the one I bought a while ago, and it's been a consistent $12.95. But this company, they sell different levels of filters, and you can see, like, I don't know if it's common to put it on a diagonal, but I found that putting it on a diagonal was kind of helpful. It helped with balancing things out. And so it supports 1 and 2 inch eyepieces. And the way it works is you put the eyepiece up onto the top, and essentially any solar light that comes in the front is basically unfiltered, and then what comes out over here isn't only reduced in brightness by like 99.8%, but it's also giving you a very narrow sliver of the wavelength. Like every color in the spectrum is blocked out except for red, basically, or what we call hydrogen alpha, a ruby red, a shade of ruby red. Brass compression ring, blah blah blah, USB 5-volt 1.5 amp, blah blah blah, comes with an AC adapter. Oddly, the AC adapter I found was not really that functional for my purposes. Tuning knob, it allows wing shifting of plus or minus 0.5 angstroms with detents at 0.1 angstrom. So essentially there's a knob with like, I think like 8 or 10 positions in it, and each one is like 0.1 angstrom, and an angstrom is like a very small unit of measure. When you're looking at like a prism or the EM spectrum with that little rainbow color, let's see here, if we can get like a diagram. So essentially the EM spectrum is like a radio dial, and angstroms are like a ridiculously small unit of measure. So like you got, this is a blurry picture, but in a nutshell, you got X-rays, you got UV, which is right to the left of the purple, ultraviolet, hence the color violet, violet colors to the left. So violet is 400 nanometers, and then to the left of that would be lower. It'd be like 300 nanometers, let's say. And then red and infrared is upwards from 700-ish nanometers. And so those are all of the colors that our eyes can see. And then everything to the right, you got like the near infrared, and you got the rest of the infrared that you cannot see. You got heat, you got microwave radiation, you got radio, you got FM, AM, and FM radio waves. So like essentially, if you're looking at a radio dial in an old-fashioned car and you're turning that knob from left to right, you're tuning between here and here. When I'm using the solar filter pictured here and I turn the knob on it, that knob is actually just adjusting from like here to here, like barely, like it's like this little tiny increment like that you can barely perceive. And we might have a better chance of like doing like maybe the hydrogen alpha spectrum. I misspelled that very badly, but that's okay. I corrected it. And so this is a great, maybe not a great example, but this is a pretty decent. In fact, quantum hydrogen alpha. So they're actually advertising a product. And so the company that makes the $1,200 filter that I'm using, they make like a filter that starts at $4,000. And if you're using it for scientific or academic purposes, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more. And essentially, this little black dash is ionized hydrogen alpha. It's a very specific shade of ruby red. And this solar filter is, or at least the one in this picture, is able to basically, you know, target within this entire shade of red. So it's like, what does this do? Essentially, tuning the dial to any position along this part of the hydrogen alpha spectrum is going to either let you see more surface detail on the sun. So like those, they call them spicules. They're like little, like, little detail. It's almost like waves. Or if you want to see like a solar flare or a prominence, you have to turn the knob in the other direction. Essentially, it's like red shift versus blue shift. So anyway, let's keep going here. And real quick, I'll catch up with the chat. So David Glenn says, so actually, David Glenn, the test is successful. So sure enough, the chat is behind. There we go. Now the chat is not behind. So we're going to put this window on my right monitor so that the chat updates and I can read it very easily. So I do want to say hi to Real Wade Gaming Nation Clips. He had a really good show. I enjoyed it. He had Punk Waddle on Sunday, I believe. Wait, was it Saturday? It was Saturday, but I did enjoy that. I mean, anything with Punk Waddle is a good time. But, you know, like, that was a fun show. And he also just had, like, a ill panel just now. I just, like, while I was eating my dinner, I tuned into Wade. He had, like, freaking, like, he had, like, the Common Nerd, or Common Nerd, Sci-Fi Nerd. He had, what's that guy's name? Comic Relief Crusader. I mean, those are two people I definitely know. And they're pretty cool people. And what's up, Raquel SSG 2211? David Glenn says, my heart just stopped seeing that price tag. How does it differ from the hydrogen filter, or is it's similar? So the hydrogen filter I use in nighttime imaging is tuning into hydrogen alpha, but it doesn't do anything to block out solar rays. So if I took my regular nighttime hydrogen alpha filter and pointed it at the sun, it would do nothing to reduce the intensity. This filter is not only reducing the intensity, but we'll get into in a moment what else it does, because there are some functionalities it carries out that are really important. So let's get right to it. So anyway, that's the camera. It's a cooled camera. Now, you don't really need the cooling unit for solar. You need the cooling unit anytime you're doing a long exposure. Anytime you have the shutter open for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's when you need to cool the camera down. It helps to reduce the amount of noise, the amount of graininess in the picture. So these are some of the adapters I use. So you see I have like this eyepiece adapter. I have an adapter that screws onto the front of the camera that lets you mount it into an eyepiece. I have a missing filter, but it turns out it's not really missing. See, I'm like, oh crap. Turns out the missing filter is actually mounted to the front of the diagonal. See right there. So this is actually, if you hold it up to a white light, it's got a yellow tint to it. This is an energy rejection filter. And essentially what it is that when your telescope is too big, the light from the sun is going to cook the filter and ruin it. So this glass is designed to absorb that heat and to prevent that heat from being passed on to the expensive solar filter, which is the red guy to the left. All set. I was really excited. So you can see right there, that's the telescope. We're getting ready to, you know, do the thing. Let me make sure I'm not taking a picture of anything messy. Oh yeah, and then that's where the computer is. See, that's my backyard computer right there. Now, looks like I took this picture while I was outside. So this is actually before I took the camera off. So you're actually looking at the nighttime filter wheel. You're looking at like position number 1 on the filter wheel, and you can see the image sensor on the camera right there. And normally I remotely control that. Now we're going to remove the camera. Like that entire thing, that entire stack contains my extension tube, the lens for the focal reducer and field flattener, and the camera's behind it. So we're going to remove that and set that aside, and we can see in there that I might need to do some dusting. And there's the camera again. So now you're looking at, see, we got to do a little cleaning there. Okay, then there's my solar kit. See, I picked a red box, so I know I can't misplace it. It's like, I know the freaking solar filter is in the freaking red box. And then we got our energy rejection filter, which was clean from the last time I did it. Now, this is the part I'm like, oh, it doesn't fit. I'm like, crap. Turns out I had to just find the missing ring and remove it. I had to use like a strap wrench actually to get it off. So there's the missing ring. So now, there we go. Now we're moving along. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Or maybe, I don't know, gas, regular gas. I don't know what kind of gas. So we're going to screw around with that. Now, you're going to notice there's two rings here. And so it's like a lock nut. But what this is so that when I'm normally, if I need to rotate the camera, this is how you would do it. And you could spend $1,000 buying a camera rotator. But generally, I'll rotate the camera and leave it in that position. Basically, I'll use the rotator because, you know, when you're tightening up a threaded connection, you can't control where things are going to line up. And the way that the filters are attached, it can create a weight imbalance. Okay, so anyway, let's just keep going here. So now we're going to put the, got a little garbage on the ground there. Okay. I'm cursing at myself. I found a missing piece. I don't know what missing piece I'm missing, but I found it. Okay, there's that piece. Okay, there we go. So now, this is actually what came with the telescope originally. This is where I would attach an eyepiece or a diagonal and then an eyepiece if I wanted to visually observe things. But for astrophotography, we normally wouldn't use the eyepiece connection. It just so happens that this particular solar filter, as it's mostly for visual observation, that's what it's for. And I see we got more pictures of the turtles here, so we're going to keep going. So, real quick, this is the computer right here. This is what controls the telescope. And you can see it's like literally a desktop power supply. It's a heat sink on top of the AMD. Like I had to turn, there was a power outage the night before, the morning before. So that's why I'm actually opening this up, is because I had to hit the power button. I was, never mind. I'm like panicking and I'm like, oh wait, never mind. And you see, like we got our two 16 gig modules. That's 32 gigs of RAM. Really, you don't need dual fans on this heatsink. If anything, I need to have more airflow going into the box. It's not really like as we get into the summer months, that's going to be more of a concern. This is actually the same motherboard that Maria Tiantelli uses. Obviously, she has a more, advanced graphics card, as I don't really need a fancy graphics card for astronomy. And then somewhere in here, I have an SSD underneath the armored plate. Fake armor, it's like aluminum. They call it steel armor, but it's clearly aluminum. So now, ironically, I got up late on Saturday. So this is like, these are the conditions under which I'm testing the telescope out. I'm lining it up. I'm like super worried that like this is not going to work out. You know, I'm like... So right here, you can see I did a little modification here. So I didn't even know if this was going to work. But you can see I put like these 3D glasses with the solar film on them on the front of the little telescope. Because I decided that I wanted to have two telescopes blasting away. You know, I didn't want to like, take any chances. I didn't want to take any chances missing anything. And I knew that this little telescope on the back could get a wide field of view. In other words, the sun will fit in the entire frame. The big telescope zooms in too much. And so... yeah, so like, I'm looking through the friggin'... but I had to go out there with friggin' hedge clippers. And then I'm trying to figure out what helicopter that was so I can make a complaint. Because they ruined my video. Nah, it's alright. I'm trolling. So anyway, let's see what else we got here. I don't know. Okay, we've seen that part. Let me just see what else we have here. Okay, we've seen that. Okay, good. Now we're going to get you to the next clip. So let's close out this window. Let's go to my top monitor. And let's click on DaVinci Resolve. And we're going to go to here. So basically this is like right before I covered up the rig in the backyard. And so we're going to just... Uh-oh. Did I lose it? Okay, there we go. So basically like what you just saw. There's the solar rig. There's the, you know, like 3D glasses that let me look at white light. And we're just going to skip forward. See, that's the little image right there. Normally I use that for auto guiding. And the only issue is that, see this right here? This is the manual focus controller. So even though it would have been nice to be able to get like a full disc image of the sun with the good filter, with the more expensive filter, there's no way for me to remotely adjust the focus. Whereas if we look at the bottom of the big scope, you'll see like this knob, and on the opposite side there's this little box, and that is the box I utilize for charging. I'm sorry, for, you know, for adjusting the focus. Like that's literally the motorized focuser, so I can literally use a USB device to adjust the focus. Now I hope the chat's working because my phone battery just died. So you know, I know once in a while I forget to, like, you know, I neglect the chat. So I'm just gonna double check the chat because I don't want to take a chance that I'm missing out on anything, guys. So hang with me 20 seconds while I verify that I'm not neglecting the chat, because it happened before. Okay, good, I'm not. Okay, good. So let's get back to it. Where's the button? I need the button. I don't know what button I'm pressing. All right, there it is. So anyway, that's what you're looking at there. So then, anyway, that's the focusing mechanism. So when the motor spins, it's actually moving this pipe in and out. And this is essentially what allows the focal point, you know, to hit the spot that I want it to hit. And so actually, like right over here, that's where the energy rejection filter is. So without that filter, things would probably be fine. But obviously, like, I don't want to take any risks because I'm remotely operating the telescope while I'm at work. So if the telescope, like, if I lose remote control over the telescope and it continues to look at the sun, I could cook that solar filter. So we have the energy rejection filter in the imaging train, as we call it. So light goes in, unfiltered light goes into here, and it goes to the solar filter, which you can sort of see at the end of that thing. You can see a magnified image of the solar filter. And you'll notice that it's pretty small, that little hole, and that's going to become relevant later on. 100mm aperture, that's how wide the lens is. 550mm focal length. Now, the thing is that red solar filter actually has what we call a Barlow lens, or a telecentric lens. In other words, it multiplies the zoom by like a factor of 2 or 4. So we're dealing with something more like 4,000 millimeters. We're actually getting more zoom. And why is that? Well, it's not so much because the zoom is important. It's that essentially the more you're zooming in, the less light you're letting in. So it's a convenient way, at least the way I see it, a convenient way of cutting down the amount of light that's being transmitted to the filter, and in order to get it to an optimal, you know, optimal level of light. Because too much light might not work so well. Too little light certainly doesn't work well. But that extra zoom, that Barlow lens, does help with getting that settled. Now, you're going to also notice there's a knob here. What is that knob? Well, it's what we mentioned earlier. That's the band pass. So, essentially, you're adjusting it left or right in order to, you know, get better views of either the solar flares or better views of the surface of the sun. Now, if I was in the path of totality, this filter would not be very useful. But since I'm not in the path of totality, I'm good. And we're gonna take a look at the let's go and look up for the tape now. So we're gonna review the tape. Actually, we're not gonna review the tape. We're just gonna straight up log into the backyard computer and take a look at what we got. So hang with me 2 seconds while I get that going. So we need to open up remote access application. We need to open up new backyard machine. And so we can see here it's already in the park position. And when I was doing solar imaging, I had to set it to solar tracking instead of sidereal. And so basically it just means that instead of countering the rotation of the Earth, it's actually countering the movement of the sun. It's following the sun. And I was amazed because I did 2 tests. I tested out yesterday when I was at work. And that's weird. Why is it doing that? Why is it like... Okay, there we go. Whatever, pause it. So yesterday at work, I logged into the computer. I clicked on, you know, the app to aim the telescope at the sun, and both times it landed on the sun in the first try, which was amazing to me, because a lot of times, like, you click point at the sun, and what happens is it does anything but aim at the sun. And here's, look at that. That's actually what it looked like at the peak of the eclipse. So let's center that real quick. And essentially, if we go back in time, this is what we were seeing here. From New York, we never got full totality. And you can see, now, I don't know if this image of sunspots is like up to date or if it's just a generic image, but we did have some sunspots. So essentially, like, I first started seeing the hint of the crescent here. And you can see the moon. It's a new moon, as someone, Dempsey, was in the chat during the big stream, and he pointed out that, yeah, it was actually a new moon. And that's, you know, the coincidence. You got a new moon in front of you in the sun. Now, speaking of coincidences, I'm fine with coincidences. A lot of people would say that, like, oh, isn't it weird that the sun is just the right size and da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, yeah, it might be a little weird. It might be a bit of a miracle or a coincidence, but it's like, you know, I don't really buy the implication. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, you know, magical wizards built the universe. And, I mean, maybe they did. But, you know, like, I don't know. I just don't. I actually believe in coincidences. Like, I know some people would say, I don't believe in coincidences. It's like, I believe in them. So, anyway, this is the folder right here. I titled it Sun Quark. So, we have two sets of images. And we might have to download a couple of applications that will play these video files. So we'll make that really quick. And so, you know, we just need an app that can play serial or SCR files. And sure enough, there's literally an app called SER Player. So we're going to download SER Player. Please tell me there's an executable that I can download, like, right now. I'm not trying to run like a Linux GitHub repo player thingy majig. Like, I just need an app. Like, I'm not looking for anything complicated. Okay, there we go. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Dang it. Dang it. No, I need a Windows SER player. Like, I just need a straight up. Like, I have one on this computer. Like, what app am I using on my computer right now? Oh, I don't have an app on this computer. I thought I did. But anyway, we just need a simple player. Like, oh, there we go. Okay, I guess it's gonna be pip, but I feel like it's not. No. I like pip, but that's a convert. I mean, we need pip anyway. But I just want a playing app. And I want a Windows installer. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to look for anything, alright, I'm making, like, I'm sure I'm overlooking something here. I think we should just download pip for now. So let's just download pip. So planetary pre-image processor or something like that. Planetary imaging pre-processor. And, you know, I just need a simple 64-bit download if available. Watch, I'll probably download a virus right there. Okay, now that looks legit. So anyway, we're going to download the pip.exe installer right there. Oh, I did download an SCR player. Is this actually one that runs on Windows? No, this is a compile your own. Yeah, no, not happening right now. No, just no. Right, let's see if we're getting a legit download here. Yeah, so like usually you gotta be real careful, right? Like, there's always like these deceptive download links, and it's like, look, buddy, I don't want to do all these other things. I'm not gonna click on the easy download button. No, thank you. It's like, I'll go get my software somewhere else, thank you. Yeah, it's always good to be a little cautious when it comes to this type of BS. It's like I've downloaded this application too, but anyway, let me try this one more time. And where's the chat window? I lost the chat window. There it is. You don't, I mean, I could, but like, I'd prefer not to do it on Windows. I like to compile programs on Linux where it makes actual sense. I don't know why I'm actually going to archive.org to download the app right now. And I'm okay with this. Right now, I'm kind of okay with this because I really don't have time to be go hunting down this program. But I know I had a program that plays .ser files. Like, it's a thing, and I feel like it looks like the website for pip went down and that people are downloading it from other places. So yeah, sure enough, I'm going to some sketchy ass website right now. I'm gonna download the old version, I think, if it'll let me. Not trying to sign into my Google account. Not trying to click on the start now button. Okay, I know how this goes. I know how this goes. I get digitally mugged by dealing with websites like this. That's what happens. Oh, wait, here it is. That's it. That's got to be it. No, that's mad sketchy. Yo, David Glenn, you're right. This page looks sketchy as F. Alright, so we got two problems. And, you know, the thing is, I didn't want to record AVI files. Okay, there we go. We got something. And I probably have this archived somewhere, but for now, we're just going to install it off of here. So, wait. Oh, I already have it. I already have it. Alright. But seriously, though, why is there not like a straight up SER player? Like can reproduce to SER player, blah blah blah. Okay, like it's not necessarily the primary way to do these things, but I would like to have an SER player. Like, I know I'm trying to just get us preview. Okay, whatever. Okay, screw it. We're just gonna deal with it for now. Oh wait, that looks good. No. Oh, that's the right app. But I feel like I'm looking at like a Linux app right there. Yeah. It's like KDE store, like okay, let's try this again one last time. It doesn't have to necessarily be a player. It could be a viewer. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna roll with it. So let's open up pip. We got pip open right here. And I am absolutely flabbergasted right now, but whatever. We're gonna roll with it. So now, the thing was around 220 something. So we're gonna ballpark it at 232, and we got this low size image right here. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit larger now. And I suppose we could do multiple images back to back. We're going to start with this one for now. Really? We're just going to get it to spit out an AVI file. I'm probably going to just go back to the live stream tape. So we're kind of just winging it. We're kind of just forcibly cranking up the brightness. Here we are. Play frames forward. Number of frames times to pause. Spit out AVI file. There we go. That's kind of what I was looking for. Okay, and then do processing. And then it says it's done. So, wait, now it's doing something. Okay, so now it's doing a little processing. I'm a little disappointed that I don't have a straight up, SER player here. I feel like I do. I feel like the name of the app is not what I think it is. You know what I mean? Like, so let me just see if I can find an SER file on my hard drive right here. Of course not. It's gonna, you know, okay, I got it. I'm gonna go to // We're gonna go into that folder on the thing. We're gonna go into the astrophotography folder, which is here. And then we should be able to go and find, I just want to find a random SER file. I want to see if I have the ability to play SER files. Here we are. So when I took pictures of the moon, I would have used a .ser file. Yeah, so there we go. That's the app. It's got a little icon there too. And I have the frickin', it says SE. So I told you I have a frickin' app for this. So where the F is the app? Is there like a website? Can they like tell me to go to their website to download their app? Okay. No, I don't need that. I need to know. I keep clicking the wrong thing. But see, that's clearly a clear picture of the moon. Ha, that'd be funny. Maybe I wouldn't try it. So actually, the same people who make pip make SER player, and considering that I had to just like go to archive.org to obtain a copy of pip, does not make me confident about, you know, playing SER files right there. It's a little concerning there, you know. But if I just installed pip, does that come with an SER player? Whatever, let's see, where's the output here. So, did it even output an AVI file? Or do I have to tell it where to save the AVI file? Maybe I didn't do that. I didn't actually tell it where to save it. Like, it does the processing. Oh, here we are. It's telling me that it outputted it to this directory here. Alright, well, let's try it out. Okay, there's our AVI. So, just give a little sample. Obviously, it's going to require me to sit down. Oh, yeah, okay. So, it did jack shit to crank up the brightness. Let's go to the live stream for now, and we're going to sort that. I'm going to sort that out on my own time, because I'm not going to make you guys sit here while I chase a wild goose and, you know, explain why I don't have it working the way that I would like it to work. Oh, God, yeah, I got the Katamari song playing during that stream, so... Now, of course, I'm sure many of you tuned in already, but I'll just show you this and I'll call it out as we see it. So, let's see here. Okay, no questions in the chat. Very good, okay. If you have any questions, let me know. So, we're going to crank up the speed of playback to something higher. So, we're going to go and do like playback speed 2x. And essentially, you know, you can see it. I love watching other people chase down programs. I hate when I have to do it. Yeah, right? So, you know, I kind of explained this in the chat during the stream, but essentially while using SharpCap, I cranked up the histogram, and at one point I decided to leave it on automatic, so it would automatically crank up the brightness. That's why the post-processed image I just want to show you guys, that's why it's so dark, because it's not doing any of the histogram adjustments. That's on me. I have to do that, and apparently... yeah, I gotta sit down with this. But normally on a clear day when it's not cloudy out, all this detail on the sun up here can get enhanced to look like a nice picture. In fact, the thumbnail image for this stream is a moderately processed image that came from a video similar to this, minus the eclipse. And so up here you got the wide field. In fact, I think we have a video of that. Let me see here. Okay, so that was the quark. We're going to go to the wide field telescope. So that was today's date, TPO 180. And I ran multiple sequences of the same imaging run. But essentially, let's start with the one from 218. Okay. And let's see, maybe we could do something better this time, like crank up the brightness or something, you know? So... we're going to try to, you know, while this is playing on the top, I'm just making some quick adjustments down here. Like, I'm just going to crank up the brightness somewhat aggressively and see what happens. Oh, here we are. This is what I was supposed to do. I made a mistake. So, it says stretch histogram to 75%. We're going to make it 150%. And we're going to pray that's enough. In fact, we're going to make it 200%. And then I'm gonna output it, blah blah blah, whatever, same as source directory, which actually might not be a good idea. Whatever, we're gonna do it anyway. And we're gonna tell it to start processing. So now you can see it's doing some stuff. So while it's doing some stuff, just kind of skim through this. So essentially, exactly as it happened. While I was at work, the cloud cover was getting thick. That's why the image gets darker. And you can see in the top left corner, how like hazy the image is getting as the clouds get really thick. And there were points where the human eye wouldn't be able to see it, but I was able to see it. So now let's see what we did here. Yeah, that's still too dark. I still got to play with this. So I'm going to have to figure this out. No big deal. I'll sort it out. And that's part of the pitfalls of, you know, generating a sequence of images instead of doing individual stills. But at the same time, I feel that it's probably easier to make adjustments to the, you know, a sequence of images together than it is to like do them individually when you have 1,000 frames. I mean, like, we burned through a lot of gigs. So now at one point in the stream, I'm panning through, and I kind of wish I downloaded this stream to my hard drive and showed you guys that way. But no big deal. I think you guys get the idea. So you can see it's approaching totality. And you can see, like, right there, it looks like a crescent moon. I mean, whoops, I'm sorry. You can see up there, it's turning into a crescent. And so the moon is blocking the majority. Now, does anybody have any doubts that the moon was what was blocking the sun today? Be honest. I will forgive you. No, I'm kidding. I won't call you stupid if you don't believe it's something. I was watching like a YouTube channel that was called something like "Never Lose the Truth" or something like that, right? And somebody's like talking about the earthquake in Taiwan and how bad it was. I mean, it's a bad earthquake. I feel bad for Taiwan, you know, but they go, oh, it's probably related to that eclipse, related to that object that's going to be blocking the sun on on Monday. And I'm like, oh, you mean the moon? Because that's the object that's blocking the moon. Blocking the sun. It's called the moon. And I don't know what the person was implying, but it sounded to me they were implying that, you know, a dragon was going to swallow the sun. So we're going to open our space engine right now, because that's something that's going to be very graphical. And I think it's going to allow us to kind of simulate what happened today. Yes, the women on The View some of the women on The View, oddly, as a running joke, Whoopi Goldberg was the voice of reason on that episode. But yes, the women on The View seem to think climate change caused the eclipse. And, you know, I always had this saying, I used to say that, like, if you blame something on climate change, nobody's going to stop you. But if you blame something on, if I say that something wasn't caused by climate change, I'm more likely to get fact checked. But actually, a friend of mine saw some Facebook posts, and it appears that the Facebook posts did indeed fact check and give accurate information about that, which is good in a way, but it's annoying because, like, so many times I'll see people, like, right after any big storm. Uh-oh, I lost my mouse pointer. I literally don't know where my mouse pointer is. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to have a mouse pointer in this app, but it's gone. That's, that's weird. I don't have any mouse pointer. I can't use an app without a mouse pointer. I gotta close it again. But anyway, I'm sorry. So, yeah, like, basically, like, this time, I guess, like, they're trying to maintain some credibility, some semblance of credibility. And, but in general, I don't think, oh, was it a crosshair? Well, I couldn't see Jack squarely. We're gonna do it again. Right, we're reloading the app. But yeah, I remember after Hurricane Sandy, people would say things like, oh, this storm was caused by climate change, and the storms are only going to keep getting worse because of climate change. And I'm like, this is just some half-cocked conspiracy theory bullshit, you know? And it's like, I just felt, I got the impression that wherever my friend heard that, whoever said it was not fact-checked at the time, and maybe they've raised the bar. That's just stupid, David Glenn. Why would they think that when we all know it was Lady Mist? It's funny, while I was eating dinner, I was getting the thumbnail. Dude, David, I can't see jack shit. Oh, there it is. I got it. Wait. Yo, that's so stupid. The mouse disappears when I click on the app. Okay, we're going into windowed mode. Let me change the settings here because I can't have this app doing this BS to me. Like I need to get it like into windowed mode if that's what it takes. So, oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I literally can't see the mouse pointer. Like we're gonna do 1920 by I don't know 1050. Okay, there we go. Let's hope this works now because I was not expecting the mouse pointer. Okay, that's progress. It's not perfectly ideal, but I'll take it. That'll do just fine for now. Okay, so but yeah, anyway, Lady Miz, I was gonna use the picture of the sun being swallowed by a dragon. But I ended up not doing that because I forgot. But I was literally like whipping up the image at the dinner table. I was like, we're gonna do this. Alright, so I went to the wrong place. I meant to go to the Earth, but we're gonna go and zoom out. So Space Engine is cool. You can use the mouse, you can use the keyboard. You can tell it to show or hide the lines here that you're seeing. But what we want to do is we want to find the planet that we live on, right? Where's our planet? Where's our planet? Where's our planet Earth? There it is. So we're gonna go to La Planeta de la Eartho, as they would say in Spanish. So let's find the moon. There's the moon. Now it might not look like much, but we're gonna remedy that in a moment. So we're gonna go back in time. So what it's about New York time is 2 something, right? So assuming this app is set to my time, and you may not be able to see the time right here, but I'll show you real quick. So I think it was like 14. Okay, so that's 14:10, and that means that okay, there's the United States, right? Uh-oh. So now we're gonna turn around and look for the moon. Where's the moon? Might have to turn off the ecliptic. Because there should be a moon in front of me somewhere. So we're gonna do a little search. I still don't see the moon. Oh wait, it's right there. Okay, there's the moon. So we're just gonna take a flight to the moon real quick. As they say in Neon Genesis Evangelion, fly me to the moon. I want to do a William Shatner monologue. So let's see if we can get the sun, the earth to cast a shadow. So let's see, that was oh, that's the wrong date. So we got to change the date to 4/8 at 14:11. Oh, I lost the moon again. All right, we're gonna find the moon, and we're gonna center it. All right, now I gotta find the moon. I saw it. It was had a little. Oh, there it is. Whoa, I lost you. Hey, moon, where you at? Okay, perfect. So now the moon is. Oh, there's the Earth. Beautiful. Look at that. So that's Mother Earth right there. It's not a planet, and no one lives there except for some mice that run a cheese factory there. Do they run the cheese factory, Lady Miss, or do they simply live off the windfalls? Because, you know, I mean, that seems to be like, you know, the MO of mice, right? I mean, they like take advantage of people with a messy room. Not that I would know anything about that. And then they eat any food. Like, you know, I can't leave a Snickers behind my desk without Mickey going all like, I want it. So anyway, you know, so, you know, basically the sun, the Earth is behind me, right? And I guess I could go all the way to Earth where New York is, but obviously I don't think that would be very practical, right? So we're just going to try to YOLO this here. So, you know, I mean, it's kind of like doing the thing, right? I mean, you know, there we go. You can see it's kind of doing the thing that it was going to do before. And so what's really cool is that, like, these things can be predicted, you know, within a reasonable accuracy, level of accuracy. But it's a new moon, because a new moon phase is the moon phase. Where, you know, you don't really see the moon. Although, if it was a lunar eclipse and the moon was dark, you could crank up the exposure settings on the camera and see more. So, and I just want to share, I'm a little bit discombobulated, but you get the idea. You know, we can see the moon, we can see that it lines up in front of the sun, and that the Earth is all the way over here. So if I was like here, and I was in, whoops, went too fast. What up, Slim? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we got Slim over there, and maybe we'll get to play some Rift tracks during the week today. I enjoyed that game. It's a good game. But let's see. And, yo, that Yakuza game's fire. Hey, what up, Dempsey? Yeah. So, Slim has been, Slim Nim in the chat has been playing a game called, I don't know. I don't even know what the game is called. I call it Yakuza, but I don't know what it's really called. And it's just a cool game about Yakuza people, you know? Japanese mobsters. Right, so we're in orbit of the Earth. I don't even know what part of the Earth I'm on. Okay, what continent is that? Let's try to get to New York. Okay, those are the British. They live in a continent that's a little bit less nice than ours because, you know, America's better. No, I'm kidding. I'm just trolling there. All right, there's Florida. That's heaven's waiting room, as they say. So now we're going to just crank down our speed a little bit. I'm going to hopefully rotate this in such a way that I can line up. There's the moon now. So maybe it's just too darn bright. The Yakuza like a dragon. Oh yeah, and a dragon is what swallowed the sun today, as we all know. So we can see the moon, that little black dot. It was around 3 p.m. Ohio time. It was 100%. So let's see if we can simulate that. I mean... Oh, goodness gracious. What did I just do? All right. That right there is star HIP 4592. It was not my intent to go there, but we are there now. And, have you guys ever wanted to see your Milky Way galaxy from afar? Well, I think we can accommodate you today. So, whoops. Excuse the mess there. Great. Gonna have to edit that. Actually, it's not too bad. Anyway, where was I? You ever want to see the Milky Way from the outside? So there's the Milky Way, right? I don't even know if I'm in my own solar system at this point. There we go. Then we're going to go back to Earth in a second. I just want to show you guys the Milky Way. And, you know, we could fly to Sagittarius A if we wanted to. So what was that? It'd be like Sag. There we go. And then we're going to go to Sagittarius A. And it's a cool feature I discovered. Whoops, I went too far out. Let's try that again. Okay, so this is interesting. So that's the black hole at the center of our galaxy, or what we, you know, think is a black hole, right? And you got all these intersecting lines. And what's cool is if you crank up the speed a lot, you start to see things orbiting stuff. So right there. And so this is sort of like related to how we even like suspect there's a black hole there, is just that you have this area where you see stars making these slingshot maneuvers around an area where you don't really see anything other than stars making sharp turns. And that's sort of like where we get the notion that there's a star. I don't know why it's being represented as a bright star here, but you get the idea. So let's get back to our planet Earth. So we got to go back to the planet Earth, set the time to normal time, normal speed. We're going to set the date to the 8th at 2:22 p.m. And we're gonna go to the planet that we live on. Okay, and I should probably turn off the little ecliptic lines because I think they do clutter up the screen just a little bit. They could be fun to look at. They could be useful sometimes. But we're going to clean it up a little bit now. So now we're going to see if we can find the moon with our own eyes. Well, first of all, the moon's got to be on the side with the sun. So there's the sun. And there's the moon. I can see the moon right there in that little blue cross here. So real quick. Uh-oh, I did it again. As in the words of Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. I wish William Shatner would sing Britney Spears. You know, he would do like, oops, I did it again. Alright, that's Australia, which we all know does not exist. Because black holes are bright. I mean, there's some truth to that, you know? I mean, like, I'm not a black hole. Oh, I picked 2 a.m. That's my problem. Let's do that again. So we got to do 14. There we go. Now we're in PMs instead of AMs. I joke around. I know Australia is real. But it's good to have like sanity because you know it could have been worse just now. Wade could have been like, Australia isn't real. Then we would have gotten into a fight about Australia being not real. Then we would have had a debate on Tuesday. Ah, shit, I did not mean to do that, but that's okay. Look at that, we got a new moon. So anyway, you guys get the idea. So what do we want to look at now? Any questions, guys? Anything you want to touch upon before I wrap up? So I was a little discombobulated while exploring space. If there's a destination you would like to look at in outer space, let me know. I mean, I'll go there, you know. I'll go wherever you want in space. You want to see Alpha Centauri? I'll go there. You want to see the Orion Nebula from inside? I'll go there. You want to see some other galaxy? And some planets that don't exist in said galaxies, since you know we don't really have that many exoplanets properly cataloged. You let me know. Who is William Shatner's fucking word recitals of music? Yeah, right. Like, what is that shit? Like Rocket Man, right? Oh yeah, Dempsey's right. Accretion disks around the event horizon, perhaps. So yeah, I'd say that is like where you might get like the source of light, right? The accretion disk, absolutely. Even Jack O'Neill from Stargate SG-1 knows about it. Oh, boats. Why are you gonna pick the emptiest part of space? I don't know if it's the emptiest part, but we'll go there. I did say that, you know, you could ask for anything in space, so we're gonna do it. But yeah, so I have a coworker, a friend, and sometimes we argue about like, you know, things like why is the moon lit up? So he argues that when we're looking at the moon, that the moon will look like it's a circle like this, and then at the halfway point, it'll suddenly look like a straight line. And so he argues that the moon is actually emitting light. And I remember one time I almost walked into a trap because why does the light on the moon have a, you know, a curved shape like this? And he goes, is it because of the shadow of the Earth? And I went, yes. And then I realized afterwards that was a mistake because that's not why it's like that. But I already walked into the trap, and then he was able to use that as ammunition to show that I'm indoctrinated or something like that. But really, you can do this with a bright light and a ball, and you'll see that when you look at it from the side like this, it'll look like this. The real thing that's hard to simulate is the way that light doesn't get dimmer. Like, you know, so normally if I took a flashlight on a ball, the light over here would be brighter than the light over here. But because the sun is so obscenely far away to begin with, the light doesn't get any dimmer. So really, like when you're talking about like you know, hundreds of millions miles, whatever million miles away, I don't even remember the number. You know, let's say we're talking about like millions of miles. The distance from here to here is not radically different. So you're not going to see a major change in brightness, you know? So, I mean, that's basically the nutshell explanation. And so if you ever look into how to build a happy light, that the use of a Fresnel lens in a happy light explains why the light on the moon doesn't taper off, why it doesn't get dimmer from here to here. But anyway, yeah, I was asked to go to Boaties Void. So we're gonna go to Boots Void right now. The distance between the sun and the Earth is approximately 149,647,268 kilometers. And that's a key word, approximately. But you got the different periods of the orbital periods. Got the Egg Nebula. Let's see. Well, we're gonna do Boats Void and the Egg Nebula. So let's do Egg Nebula. There is an Egg Nebula in the Milky Way. I'm picking that one first only because it's an actual thing. I mean, Boats Void is a thing too. So, I mean, it basically, from Earth's perspective, it looks like a nebula. And then where the application, I think, takes more creative license is when you get inside of something like this. So, what's going to happen is, as you get inside, it might use cataloged stars, but some of these stars are going to be made up. In fact, this nebula is pretty empty in general, apparently. It actually looks like it's mostly gas. Some nebulas will have stars inside of them. This one doesn't. That's kind of interesting. But what about in the middle? Because there's a lot of light emanating from the center. So maybe there's a star in the middle. No, this is just I think they call this an emission nebula. White subgiant. Huh. It looks almost like a supernova remnant. And so I don't know how accurate the data is when when you're orbiting or when you're flying around said object, but that's what it looks like from the back. So now we're gonna go and touch on Boots Void, and hopefully during the week I'll have time to so I don't think Boots Void is a cataloged object. Ring Nebula M57. Alright, that's a supernova remnant for sure. I'm almost certain that's a supernova remnant. And some of these, like the Crab Nebula, like are well documented. Like old Chinese text from astronomers around the world back in antiquity made note of a super bright object. The Hand of God is cool to look at. We're going to take a look at the Hand of God in a moment. So right here, like, it's got some interesting colors there. But yeah, that's a good old-fashioned supernova remnant if I've ever seen one. So let's see if the Hand of God is a thing, and maybe I'll find out if Boats Void is. We did the center of the Milky Way. I'll go there again, but yeah, we went there when we looked at Sagittarius. So Hand of God is not an official name apparently, but we're gonna find something. So first things first, let's see if we can find out where Void. Location, okay, Boots Void location, 700 million light years away from Earth, approximately right ascension, 14 hours, 50 minutes, and declination of 50. What is it near? It is near the Hercules supercluster. So maybe what we could do is we can go back to our home real quick, right? Then we're gonna use the search function again to find Hercules. So because it looks like type in well, it looks like I'm typing in names of places that are just way too big. Can I just copy and paste the numbers into this? Can I do that? I don't think it's gonna work. What up, Caleb Reynolds? Boots Void comprises 2% of the observable universe. Alright, so I don't think that works out so well. I wish I had like let me see here. Boots Void in Space Engine. Like, how do I find it in... Look, there's actually a whole entire page here. Go to Sol, visualize constellations, aim at boats. Okay, so I'm at Sol right now, basically. I'm at Earth. So if I visualize constellations, I gotta click on a button, I think, over here. And then we gotta look for boots. Or boats. Row, row, row your boatsy void. Oh, Corona Borealis. This was the area where that binary star was gonna blow up. The Pulsar Wind Nebula. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pull up that in a second. Okay, we found Bootsy right here. There's Bootsy, right? So we're going to go faster than light. We're going to go 1 AU a second. Did I go past it? All right, that looks pretty empty right there. Let's keep going. I think I found the void. This is freaking boring, Dempsey. No, I'm kidding. Alright, that's HIP 788. And it looks like one of these weird stars that has a weird eccentricity. Like, it's got an oval shape to it right there. So it's probably spinning, like, along its equator. Something like that. Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you, Slim. So I just warped into Boots Void. So what I did was I went like in this direction and I went like... And I just went into this pitch black expanse. And then eventually... Whoa, what the hell is that? I think I've seen this Star Trek episode before. What the fudge is that? Alright, that must be part of the constellations. Oh, that must be where the constellation lines look from somewhere else in the universe. That is freaking weird. Okay, that's within one of our spiral arms. Alright, where is Earth? Let's see if we can guess. I'm gonna guess that Earth is over here somewhere. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, it's right near there. Okay, good. Yeah, so what I did was, when I was not using the camera, I looked for Bootsy's Void. I kind of just panned around until I saw the word B-O-O-T-E-S. And then we kind of just warped into it. So it was right here. There it is. It was right here. So we basically went like warp speed like this. And if I move the scroll wheel, we're going at 134C, 1 AU, 4 AU, 20 AU a second, 1 light year, 4 light years per second. And you know, even at 4 light years per second things, and look at it, so look at these lines here for the constellations. These are the constellation lines here. They start to get really warped as you're going in the direction of stuff. So that's what kind of what we're seeing here is the three-dimensional spatial relationship between constellations. So what was the name of that other nebula? I just saw it here. Bird poo on a spaceship's windshield. Alright, so there's that cool nebula. Pulsar Wind Nebula. We're going to take a look at that next. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm kind of winging it, but I'm assuming that if I fly in the direction of what says Boots on it, I would eventually be there. Now, it is possible this is like... Oh, I see. I think I see how this works. Honestly, this is kind of scary. I'm not sure if we're now looking at fake galaxies or Hubble deep field imagery. Let's see what's over there. Galaxy RG454. What time is it? Okay. It's still early. Well, it's not that early. Yo, it literally is time travel. You're right, Dempsey. Somewhere in the middle of Western's third spiral arm of the Western. Okay. So let's see. We're going to do, I keep mixing up the name here. Pulsar Wind. Okay, let's go back to the planet Earth. Well, first let's go here. Then we're going to do Pulsar Wind. Alright, so there's a galaxy. Just like our... Whoa, alright. But yeah, it's very weird. It's almost like you're breaking the laws of causality. Now, I'd imagine a lot of this stuff here is kind of just like an inference. It's not real. But it's still kind of cool that at least the estimates are probably pretty good. That looks like some kind of white dwarf or one of those highly radioactive blue stars. Oh yeah, blue main sequence stars. This is basically how the Necrontier in 40K got melanoma. Alright, let's get back to the Earth, and then we're gonna go pulsar wind. And I always go back to Earth as a reference point because I don't really like, I'm not crazy about flying into stuff from other galaxies. You know, I just think the constellations would be way off. So we're gonna do that again. We're gonna do pulsar wind. Okay, and if it don't come up, we're gonna Google it. Well, we're gonna search for it. So, because I mean, it's a real thing. Okay, wind nebula. Maybe it's got a different name. Because it's a real place. Hand of God. It's a real freaking place. I don't know why it's not in the app by default, but we're gonna find it. I'm looking at the information on it right now. Okay, the Vela pulsar. It's in the center there. So we're gonna do Vela pulsar. There we go. So now we're gonna go. But yeah, during my solo stream today, I played the Katamari song because I needed some like music that wouldn't get me struck, and I figured that would be it. So this is a weird one right off the bat. So see that like that pulsation you're seeing? I believe that's the pulsar spinning, and that's why we can use pulsar coordinates to you know, basically show aliens where we are, because we can say that, hey, just look for us at the intersection of pulsar that is at these coordinates spinning at this speed. And you basically take like any 4 pulsars or any 7 pulsars, give the information about those pulsars, and say that I'm at the intersection of those pulsars, and aliens will find us, or in theory they should be able to find us. Now, I don't know what it looks like up close, or if it's supposed to look like anything up close, but we'll go in. Well, one thing you can do is in this application is you can actually like slow things down, so you can actually pause time. And so if I hit play again, and I can slow down time if I want. So now let's see if we can see something like a wide field of what this is. So I was expecting it. So I believe this pulsar is supposed to be at the center of something, you know, cool. But either this application doesn't have it listed, or I'm doing something wrong. I mean, it's in our own galaxy. It's like in one of the outer spiral arms you can see. Yeah, pulsar is a little bit scary. And you can just see like how like dense. Now, if you ever worry about the galaxy colliding, you don't have to worry, because when the Milky Way collides with Andromeda to form Milkdrometer, you're not going to have a bunch of stuff colliding. And I think you guys both all know that today from this experience, just from me flying in like this. You see that like as I get into the densest part of our home galaxy, there's still plenty of space between all of these stars. And so more likely the stars are going to coalesce around each other. Some of the stars are going to orbit each other. It's going to be like a dance, basically. You know, the stars are going to be dancing together. Let's see here. That's a nebula. We're looking at a nebula right here. And you can actually fly into the nebula and you can see some dark dust, which is not dark matter. And we can see like a supernova remnant right there. Look at that. That's got to be a supernova remnant or something. I mean, it's got like a bright spot in the middle. It looks a bit like an hourglass. That looks so like a supernova remnant. Yeah, supermassive black holes colliding makes some sense. And even that, I wouldn't necessarily like, you know, bet on it. But I wouldn't be opposed to it either. It's not like the first thing like... So, you know, it's just some cool stuff here. Like, if you get bored, you just want to kind of look at stuff, or, you know, listen to me play classical music while I fly through space on a, you know, non-work day, this might be the thing to do. Ghost of Jupiter. Is that an actual place or something? Let's see. So, 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to go visit Ghost of Jupiter in a second. And let me see if I'm neglecting anything here. Eskimo Nebula, just like Eskimo Brothers. always thought the word Eskimo Brothers is really funny. I used to not know what it meant, but now I do. C59, Ghost of Jupiter. So there's our Eskimo nebula. That does look like an Eskimo from this angle. Look at that. I can see like an Inuit guy right there, like, you know, just hunting for seal or something like that. Ah, it's a Netsilik warrior. But if we go in here, it looks like it's got something in there. It's got a white dwarf. The guy from the, you know, from the Superman movies. I'm not really into those superhero movies, but they got that midget from Game of Thrones. A little guy, little person. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be saying midget. That's not nice. I'm sorry, guys. That was inappropriate. I meant to say little person from the Avengers movies. What the heck is that? Why does this get a special color code? Yo, that's sick. It's a fake Jupiter. Or is this the Ghost of Jupiter? Is this the thing you told me to go to? Is this literally the thing you just told me to go to? Or is it just a coincidence that we're looking at a fake Jupiter right now? Okay, we're going to do C59 Ghost of Jupiter now. Okay, so there is a Ghost of Jupiter in the Peter Dinklage. That sounds like a funny name. It could be a nice person. I'm not trying to knock them. Alright, so there's our Ghost of Jupiter. But in Spanish or Eastern European, this would be the Ghost of Jupiter. The Ghost of Jupiter. No, I'm kidding. Okay, jokes aside. What's this? Is that in another place? Oh, whoops. Okay, sorry, I left the place. But that's cool. We got a binary star system. Our star is non-binary. It identifies as Sol and Sun. Should I be looking up this Peter Dinklage so I can find out how much of a some guy... Oh, goodness gracious, I just clicked on the wrong button. Alright, that was close. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to try to figure out why this app didn't run in full screen mode, but it's alright, it's working alright now. But let's look at real Jupiter. Unless there's something in that fake Jupiter to, you know, that might be of interest to y'all. Let me see here. We'll jump back there real quick. Yeah, there is like a little star in the middle I want to go to. Orange dwarf. You know what they say in modern politics? Orange dwarf bad. I am the orangest dwarf ever. Okay, I'm trying to imitate that guy who is president. I am a tremendous star. Oh, the little guy in the movie Elf. Okay, I got you. So this is interesting because like this star and the binary star is like, I think we should visit Alpha Centauri real quick because you can see how like you know it's easy to assume that binary stars are actually really close to each other, but they're not necessarily that close to each other. And each one will have its own distinctively, you know, orbiting objects. I mean, this alone, this gas giant like Jupiter has its own system around it. And if we turn on the orbits, you can see like, if we went in here, we'd probably start to see, uh-oh. Okay, whoops. See, you got like the things orbiting here. I'm surprised these don't have little lines going to them. But you can see even back there, you got like this guy here. It's got its own set of orbits. And then we got like a bunch of other crap orbiting other crap. And then you got all of the crap that orbits just this one star in the binary system. So let's go visit Alpha Centauri. Then we're going to go back home to Jupiter. Oh yeah, I think it's a quaternary system. No, okay, yeah, you're right. It is a trinary. So what? Well, whatever. Let's see here. I'm going to do Proxima Centauri, Proxima b, Proxima c, Proxima Cen. Well, it is Proxima. And I believe they visited Alpha Centauri or Proxima Centauri in Voices of a Distant Star. There we go. So I don't know if there's like a Barry Centauri, but it looks to me that you got Proxima D, Proxima B orbiting, you know, Proxima in the middle. And then there's another green line. I want to know what's this green line. Oh, Proxima C. So I guess, you know, these are all components of the same system. And then where's our planet? Because this is going to become relevant in a minute. Okay, there's ours right there. How long do you think it'll take us to fly there? We're currently going at 9 AU a second. Now we're going to go 1 light year. We're going to go... Okay, we're almost there because we're going super fast. Whoa, whoa, okay. And there we go. As Carl Sagan would say, everything you know in that pale blue dye. Look at that. Look, you got Maki, Haumea. So, okay, Pluto is right here. I see Uranus. And, yet, one of the things that's cool about our solar system is the amount of other crap there is. So, for example, you got Eris up here. And this is like a dwarf planet that is not too far off from the size of, oh shit, I lost it. You know, from the size of Pluto. Whoops. And same thing, Haumea is almost like more like an egg-shaped planet. Let's get a look at Haumea. Haumea. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me slow down to warp speed. I'm sorry, guys. Don't want to make anyone dizzy. Stratner, Dressler, sanitary, let's go. Stratner, Dressler, sanitary object 1. That sounds like something that, that lady, Sabine Hosfelder would talk about. So let's take a look at Haumea. So, based on a light curve, we do know it's actually got this weird egg shape to it, like, as a matter of pretty decent fact. We might have even got a close picture of it, although I don't know if this line represents an actual feature or like a digital imaging oopsie. I feel like this is just more like a, I don't know, it's a good question. That'd be worth investigating, but this being in our own solar system, we do have some detail, actual detail of this object, so it's not like a fake, you know, stand-in for a real object. Now we're going to go back to Maki. Let's take a look at Maki. Okay, this is another real object with like a weird lumpy shape to it right here. And these are part of our solar system. These are not like, you know, even like these are part of our galactic, our immediate stellar neighborhood. And we're going to just get a nice wide shot because I want to see other known objects. Here we are. We're going to go with this one. Now, I want to find Sedna next. But we're going to go with Eris because that's, you know, a cool planet. And it's already on our scope right now, so we can actually navigate to it, even if I'm having trouble clicking on it. I keep clicking on a frigid, there's an asteroid near, so let's see here. Okay, so that's why I keep clicking on the, okay, good, we got it. So we're gonna go to object. There we go, and this is Eris. It's actually a normal shaped planet. It's got a 4,600 kilometer, I guess, radius, diameter. I know, right? Oh my God! Don't even get me started on Nemesis because some years ago, okay, you got me started. So some years ago, there was a guy. He was a big silver bug. I think he passed away, but his name was Bob Chapman, and he had an interesting version of the explanation for, you know, the whole Nibiru Nemesis thing. And although I think like a lot of the predictions have like come and gone multiple times with regard to you know, all of that, Bob Chapman had a pretty cool version of this. So his idea was the story of the Tower of Babel was the result of, you know, something that passes on a very wide orbit. Because in fact, like Sedna might be the good object. So is this Sedna right here? Or is that just a cold asteroid? I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't think that's Sedna, but... Oh, that's Nemesis. I found Nemesis. There's Nemesis right there. See? It's there. No, I don't think that's the Nemesis, but that is a rock called Nemesis. Did I type that in by accident? I don't even know what I was typing. I did type in Nemesis. I didn't even know I was typing that. Okay, let me try it again. We're going to go to Sedna. Because Sedna is a large object. They're pretty large. It's not quite as large. 1990. Okay, it's only 2,000 kilometers, but let's take a look at Sedna's orbit, because I'm not even kidding. This is actually relevant to the whole Nemesis Nibiru thing. So we're going to just zoom out. Okay. So remember, look at that freaking orbit. Look at that orbit right there. Look at that orbit. Okay, so once again, like, where's Pluto? Pluto is over here. Pluto is like this green line that's doing this. Okay, so everything that we are familiar with, everything we learned about in school is somewhere inside this dark green line. See, I got Uranus, I got Neptune, I got, Jupiter, and then everything inside of Jupiter's orbit is what we know, right? Mars and our own planet. But a lot of times we like to think about, I think we have this tendency to think about Pluto as like the outer extremity of our solar system, but it's really not. And I mean, you could argue that it's the outer extremity of the normal solar system, but you're seeing right here this red circle here. And so this is what Bob Chapman had. His argument was that Nemesis or Nibiru was a brown dwarf star, basically a object like Jupiter, but harder to see. And that it was on a very wide elliptical orbit, even more elliptical than this. So his idea was that the closest part of the orbit for Nibiru was like right near Earth, like over here where my crosshair is, right? And then the far end of the orbit was like way out over here. So the idea was that it would take like 20,000 years or some ridiculous time for the object to make its orbit. So during a large chunk of its time out here in the far reaches of periapsis or whatever they call it. In fact, there's actually, I think if we click on, damn it, I lost it. But if we clicked on that part of Sedna, we probably could have used the word, let me see here. If I click here, I think it'll actually, okay, it doesn't say. But basically you have the far side and the near side of the orbit. And anyway, the bottom line is that when Nibiru or the brown dwarf object Nemesis is way out here, we can't observe it. It's not reflecting enough light. But every 20,000 years, let's say, when it's coming near Earth, it starts to give a lot of seismic activity. So you got the Tower of Babel and you got an earthquake. And this earthquake is causing the Tower of Babel to collapse. At the same time, people lost the ability to speak. And I'm not a Bible scholar, so I'm sure someone who knows more than me will be able to correct me. But the gist of it was that what Bob Chapman was saying was that a brown dwarf star kicks off a lot of really dirty radiation. And so now you got these earthquakes happening. And as the brown dwarf star is coming on a close approach to the Earth, the radiation is causing the synapses in the brain to disconnect. I don't even know if that's how that works. This is just what the guy said on his podcast in like the year 2011. And so as your synapses are disconnecting, you're losing IQ points. And so now imagine a bunch of people, earthquake, and then suddenly people who all spoke the same language lose the ability to speak. And now a bunch of people and most of humanity has to relearn how to speak English, or speak any language for that matter. They didn't speak English back then. So I don't know if that made sense, but that's the thing that, basically, like, who knows? I mean, like, just looking at the orbit of Sedna, who's to say that they aren't other objects? In fact, I'm pretty sure they are. I'm pretty sure if I had time, we could research names of asteroids or comets and actually identify them. Like, I wish I had time to, like run plugins in Celestia. Celestia is another app that's a bit more scientific than this one. And you could download plugins that show you all of the planets in size, order. You can see all of that. But real quick, I want to see if we can find the Shatner-Drechsler sanity object. Is that even an object, or did you just make that up? Well, let's see. We're going to find out. That might be a... there's a planet called Gigantia. I can't read that. Brown dwarfs fuse tritium. Oh, that sounds like a good time. Alright. So, I don't know if this is what Slim was talking about, but this is name I can't read. Gantia. Yo, Celestia is pretty cool, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna play with that later in the week on a day off. Especially if I can't do astronomy, I'll do Celestia maybe one night or part of a night, you know, just for kicks. So yeah, you know, it's kind of orange, but anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap up because although you guys aren't holding me hostage and I enjoy hanging out with you guys, it's a school night, and chances are it's gonna be funny. I'm gonna wrap up this stream, then I'm gonna lay down and have trouble sleeping, which is okay because I had a good nap during my lunch break. I mean, during the stream today, that's literally what I did was went on my lunch break and napped while this was taking pictures, and so I got to do some pre-processing on the imagery from earlier. Let's see if we have the music playing. Whoops. Yeah. Oh, it's playing at 2x speed. There we go. This is Slim's fault, by the way. Homework. Yeah, right. Homework, if you could call it that. But yeah, so anyway, what we did was we had 2 cameras, so I have to do yeah, that is homework. You're right. Yeah, so my homework during the week is to get the imagery from the top left image to turn into a video that we can actually play during next week or during one of my nightly shows maybe. And I need to also make this big image into a video and do what I can to enhance the detail on the surface of the sun. In particular, during any part of the recording when there's not a lot of cloud cover, that's going to be the best time for me to try to enhance some detail out of the sun. So yeah, those are my tasks. That's the homework. In the meantime, I'm going to begin wrapping. If anybody has any questions, comments, or ideas, let me know before I conclude. But yeah, so this is like almost, I think, near totality right here. You can see like we're getting that crescent right there. And you see like it got really cloudy. So it's like I kind of predicted that, you know, you're going to get cloudy skies when there's a celestial event. That's like just a running joke, you know? And what's cool is if you look at the picture of the moon, you actually see some of the mountains on the moon forming like a silhouette sometimes. Like you can see this jagged shape here. And that's sort of like what we have going on there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope Dempsey and anybody else here enjoyed my attempted explanation at what I learned about Nibiru. And remember, I have DaVinci Resolve running right now and just want to share something kind of fun. So if you look here at my performance tab, apparently DaVinci Resolve knows how to use the video RAM in both graphics cards. Like right now, I'm not running a real editing project, but yesterday I was editing a real project. And DaVinci Resolve was literally like using up all of the video RAM on both graphics cards. But this is pretty dope. So I have 3 out of my 4 monitors on the secondary GPU, and then I have my big monitor, the one that's running the graphical app, the game Space Engine, on my main monitor. So my theory is that by putting all of my secondary monitors on another GPU, that'll allow the main monitor to have, you know, smoother graphics or something like that. So, you know, we'll keep playing with that and see how that goes. You know, obla di, obla da, life goes on, in the words of William Shatner. It sounds like you should do a Nemesis video. You know, I think if I did that, I would do more research on it. And I'm like not like dead serious about, like, I'm open-minded. I'll say that. I'm open-minded about it, and I'm willing to entertain possibilities. And I thought that Bob Chapman's version was really compelling. And they say the internet's forever, but there are a number of things that I've seen on the internet that are almost impossible to come by now. So the internet is forever when you do something embarrassing. Like if I pull down my pants right now, that shit will be forever. But if I do something like amazing, like I patent a new invention and I go and I show you guys a picture of a postmarked, you know, envelope proving it's my invention, that video will disappear off the face of the internet so that I can't use it to prove I invented something. So I believe that that's Murphy's Law right there. But anyway, enough rambling here. Once again, I want to thank you all for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys want to, you know, drop a comment with ideas or suggestions, you know, I'm open-minded, especially with the, you know, space thing. And I think Dempsey gave a good suggestion right there. that I should do a Nemesis video. As for what you said earlier, Slim, you mentioned Stratner Dressler Object 1. Is that a real object, or is that just a made-up word? Like, should I be looking into that? I mean, if it's a real thing, I'll look for it. I'm gonna make a note of it in my notepad. But if it's a made-up word, please let me know so I don't waste time looking into that. I can see myself researching it and being like frustrated to find out that it doesn't exist. I'm just gonna Google it right now. Oh yeah, it's a real object. That's a real object. Real quick, guys. This thing. So it didn't come up in the app I was in, but Slim did not make it up. This is a real object. And we'll read about it before I conclude for reals. Schottner Dressler Sanity Object 1, SDS-01, is a newly discovered filamentary emission nebula 1.2 degrees southeast of Andromeda Galaxy's M31 nucleus. In 2022, French astro-imager Jan Sanity. Sainty, I'm misreading. Okay, that says Sainty, not Sanity. Used a 4-inch Takahashi refractor. Jesus. Guy used a $10,000 telescope. That's a beautiful telescope. A 4-inch Taka. I have a 4-inch telescope. Mine cost like $2,000. A Takahashi of similar caliber is in a different class, in a class of its own. It uses fluorite lenses that are more delicate but superior in terms of imaging characteristics. A CMOS astronomical camera and a range of filters to capture a total of 111 hours of exposure of the galaxy. The faint glow revealed itself in data taken with oxygen O3 filters, which is basically a shade of bluish green. So this little wisp of bluish green is done in O3, or ionized oxygen. After Marcel Dressler and Xavier Xavier Stratner processed and analyzed the data, while an untold number of imagers across the globe soon started to capture the plasma arc using O3 filter and all manner of telescopes. It seemed only a matter of time before SDSO became a target of visual interest. Indeed, given the visual prowess and tenacity of today's amateur astronomer, it is not surprising that several observers have already claimed to have seen it using telescopes as small as 2.4 inches. That sounds like an exercise in frustration. And as large as 30 inches. But these are early days. The question is, what, if anything, can you see? Oh, real quick before I wrap up for real, and Dempsey, it is an honor for you to wish everyone here fortune. But real quick, I did want to briefly explain something before I wrapped up, because I feel that this is like just kind of like relevant to what we're doing here. So let me just clean up my windows real quick. I need to exit that. Okay, so real quick. So this is the solar filter I used today. So let's talk about it briefly. So over here, this is the energy rejection filter. What this does is it's got a yellow tinted glass. It prevents heat from going any further. Then we got the solar filter. It's got two components. We got this reflective mirror finish here. So it's reflecting a lot of the unwanted light, but it's letting the sunlight through. Then in here, we got a mica crystal. And we basically turn this knob to increase or reduce the heat, and that causes the mica crystal to expand or contract minutely. This is called a oven sometimes. And, you know, essentially that's how we're able to tune in different wavelengths. Now, this is weird. See this little piece right over here? So this is actually a piece that purposely makes it crooked. Why would I want to make this crooked? Well, it turns out if this is too straight, you'll get little rings on the image due to the nature of how this filter works. So this purposely makes it slightly crooked so that you don't get those, you know, you don't get that issue. So now let me make sure that this is, so now this is the image sensor right here. This is actually a APS-C sensor, I believe. It's slightly bigger than a 4/3 sensor, if I remember correctly. So that's the black and white image sensor. And then in here, see that ruby red? So if you don't have any eyepiece and you point this at the sun, you'll literally see the circle or part of the sun in this thing, making a pretty clean image. But the eyepiece is what you're magnifying it with so that you can actually see like nicer details. So essentially the front has a mirror finish, the back has a ruby red color to it. And then when you attach these together, we have the complete solar imaging filter kit right here, basically. This is everything that I need in order to, you know, image in hydrogen alpha. So with that being said, we really are going to conclude this now. So once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. I really do appreciate Dempsey, Lady Mist, David Glenn, Slim Nim, Real Wade Gaming Nation Clips, Real Wade Nation Gaming Live, and he had me on his show a couple weeks ago, and he had Punk Waddle on yesterday. It was really nice. It was a good show. I enjoyed it, and plus I just enjoyed hanging out in the chat watching Punk Waddle and him. Caleb Reynolds, he likes good anime, I believe. And I think that we got Slim, we got Caleb, Raquel SSG 2211, and yeah, everyone else. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and as Dempsey says, I wish you all luck and fortune. And with that being said, we really will conclude this. So once again, thank you for watching. For anybody watching on the replay, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. And for now, we shall end transmission on my